What's up, NFL fans? I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the Playbook, and don't forget to check out and purchase your copy of our latest football game plan book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. We have these available in both PDF and paperback form.
For the Bills in this ball game, I would play the power game on offense. The Dolphins have a lot of speed within the front seven, and the best way you can combat speed is with power. Running downhill could lead the Bills to victory this week versus Miami. And it's as simple as blitzing Ryan Tannehill on the defensive side. Here's a guy that has problems facing pressure. He tends to hold the football a little bit too long, and you will have opportunities to get him on the ground or force turnovers. And I would also utilize the running backs and tight ends in pass protection. You don't have to send all 5 eligible guys out in the route. Try to help Kyle Orton out in the pocket, help that offensive line out by keeping either a back and or a tight end in to pass protect. And for the Dolphins in this ball game, you want to keep the pocket on the move. If your offensive line is struggling and you have an athletic quarterback back there in the pocket, move the pocket for him, switch up those launch pad spots, and I think that's how they can have some success throwing the football. And on defense, I would love to see Grimes mirror Watkins all day long. He has the most explosiveness on the defensive side in the secondary, as does Watkins on the offensive side. Match your best with their best, and that's how you take him out of the game. And Tannehill has to hit those big plays deep down the field. You can't continue to miss on these deep passes to Mike Wallace. The Bills will give you an opportunity for big plays deep down the field. It's all up to you to have that timing, to have that accuracy to connect on those big plays that could result into touchdowns.
This week versus the Miami Dolphins, the Buffalo Bills have to be able to have success in the passing game versus a very tough and aggressive front seven of the Miami Dolphins. And I'm going to show you one play they can utilize, putting Kyle Orton in the pistol formation and having some success off of play action. Show you what we're talking about here. We have our pistol set drawn up. We're going to be strong left, tight end, wide receiver with 2 receivers to the weak side. We're going over here with the football, but we're going to create a 3-layered concept with the tailback, the tight end, and the crosser, but we really want to go over here and try to create space. Now, this is after you've run the football successfully, strong side, and what we're going to do is have a nice little play action off of it. So Kyle Orton is going to fake the gut action right there. He's going to settle up in outside leg of the guard, in the inside leg of the tackle, running the hook route right over the middle, a little check down route about the tailback. That's going to hold this linebacker at bay. We're going to have the tight end stem up into the post, hopefully trying to get one-on-one coverage with the safety here, and we're bringing the wide receiver on an intermediate crosser or an over route. So you see where we have the 3-layered concept here. Now what we're doing front side and where we really want to go with the football, we want to try to hit this guy here quickly on the whip route or the pivot route, like some people like to call it. So we're going to run this wide receiver on a divide. He's going to split the safety in a corner. He's running straight on an angle. Again, that could also help out the backside post because he's going to pull this safety, creating one-on-one opportunity on the backside with their tight end if he wants to go there. Now you have the receiver working in and pivoting out to the sideline. So now you have a chase situation. It's going to put this nickel back in the bind, is going to put this corner in the bind because he's in the chase formation. You're going to have this corner, whether he's trying to sit underneath this divide route or he's going to try to jump and follow in, because if he vacates, you have this guy open. If it's man, you know you're going to get lost on the whip going back outside. So he's open, and Kyle Orton is setting up right outside, right inside the tackle box, So it's almost a short waggle. He has a 3-layered concept. He has his check down, he has the crosser, he has the whip, and if he has one-on-one with the safety, he can go deep down the field. So this is one way they can have success off of play action this week versus Miami, because again, Miami's defense is very tough. If Buffalo can create opportunities in the passing game, they could have a great chance to win. What you're going to see a lot of, you're going to see a lot of cluster sets, a lot of bunch formations, and if you're the Dolphins, it's all about passing guys off and knowing how to play the bunch formation. I'm going to show you one way you can do so and have success. A lot of times guys get caught up in trying to play man versus the bunch formation or a bunch set or a cluster set. But this is one way that I would like to cover it, that I like to cover it when I was out there coaching a long time ago. But here's what you want to do. You want to have the guy at the top of the bunch be a backer so he can get physical with this guy that's probably going to be a tight end or a wide receiver. Try to get a good bump, try to throw him off and funnel him inside to where your help is, so that way you then can buzz out to the flat. And as a corner, you're just sitting and waiting to see which guy comes your way and you pick him up. Same rules apply for the safety. So if this guy wants to work in, then out, you take him. If he wants to work in and then over this way, it's the safety's job. If he's crossing face, pass him off to the backer. Let's try another combination. It's so simple. All you have to do is just cover the guy that's in your area. So again, let's say they want to come this way with it and that way with it. Guy crosses face, you have the guy that's in your area. You still got to get a good bump and pass him off here. Or if you want to, you take the outside, he takes the inside if he's covering this way, and you follow the guy at the top of the bunch going across formation. But as far as someone coming deep, corner and safety have to communicate and just diagnose which guy is in their area. It's not hard, it's simple. Just again, the guy at the top of the bunch, get a bump, funnel him inside to where your help defense is. Guys on the outside, just sit back, wait, be patient, and you'll be in great position to slow down the bunch formation.
The Buffalo Bills do a great job of playing the run, and you'll see right here, defensive tackle Kyle Williams doesn't allow himself to get washed, and he's able to defeat the down block by Eric Fisher. The Chiefs want to block down and pull both the guard and the center to try to create gaps and creases for Jamal Charles to shoot through, and it doesn't happen. Williams is about to squat and get penetration, thus allowing all three backers free reign to the football and make a play. And it's this type of effort that has to happen up front once again in order to come away with the win versus Miami. The Bills have to make the Dolphins one-dimensional, and it starts by stopping the run. For the Dolphins, both Ryan Tannehill and the offensive line need a much better effort in the passing game. In this example, Ryan Tannehill has ideal numbers in the box: 4 defensive linemen versus 5 offensive linemen with a back in the backfield, so he's well protected. And if the 7th guy comes, that's his responsibility. However, if you have a quarterback that has poor pocket awareness, he'll always check pressure before focusing on his options. This is a case of sacking yourself. Tannehill is an athlete and could have avoided this outcome, but again, it starts by understanding protection, being confident in your abilities, and keeping the play alive, none of which happened on this play. And in this next example, it's a bad play by the guard, Mike Pouncey. You can't allow yourself to get beat like that. He reached, he lunged, Sue hit him with a counter move and was able to sack Tannehill. Tannehill had no chance on that play. Again, you can't reach and lunge. You have to understand, you have to keep leverage, and if you don't, this will happen. And here's another example of Tannehill not understanding the advantage he has in this situation. The Lions are showing 6-man pressure, and initially, you have 5 offensive linemen, and you're responsible for the 6th guy. The Lions end up only rushing 4, and the pressure influences the right tackle to block inside and allowing the end man on the line of scrimmage to come free. Again, more than enough time for Ryan Tannehill to avoid the sack, but he freezes, rushes the throw, and the result was an interception. If he doesn't get over this inability to deal with pressure by utilizing his athleticism, these type of plays will continue to happen. He did a solid job the 4 weeks prior to this game. In doing so, last week he didn't. He has to get back on the right track along with the rest of this offensive line if they want to have a chance. At Chris Devlin 7700 asked the question, without Albert and our running back injuries, how can Miami run on the Buffalo Bills? And a great question, Chris. What I think they have to do when you have a team that's over aggressive in the front 7, your ideal situation is to either try to wham block these guys, influence block them, or if you have a mobile quarterback like the Dolphins do in Ryan Tannehill, you want to spread the field and utilize his legs as the runner. So again, spreading the field, putting that running back in motion, you're going to get man coverage. And once that linebacker vacates the box, that's when you know Ryan Tannehill has free reign to run up the middle. You can easily run a quarterback trap or quarterback draw, which could lead to a big play in the red zone. At DBullet98 asked the question, what's the best way to slow the Bills pass rush down? One way is to run right at it, and the creative way to use your personnel is to put an extra offensive lineman in the backfield and try to trap the defensive lineman. It allows you to easily get a lineman on the second level, and it also helps to have an offensive lineman try to trap someone like Marcel Darius as opposed to a tight end. Another example is trying to get to the outside. You want to combo block the nose to the backer, block down on that play side defensive end, and lead on the backer with the fullback. That allows you to get to the outside and hopefully a big play in the running game. At Dano708 asks, how much will Tannehill playing on a short week with some injuries hurt his performance on Thursday Night Football? I think it won't hurt his performance. I think Tannehill just has to understand, again, he is an athlete. He can get outside the pocket. He can make plays with his legs. And the one thing a defense doesn't want to defend is a mobile quarterback. It makes it an 11-on-11 game. If he understands that, the Dolphins will be fine. At Diego24FPS asks, what do you think Buffalo's running game will look like this week? I think it'll look like what you saw last week versus Kansas City. Some Bryce Brown, some Anthony Dixon. If Fred Jackson is healthy, maybe he'll be out there as well. But the fact of the matter is they have to make sure they protect the football and stay committed to the run. The yards may not be there, the attempts have to be, and that allows Orton to operate off play action. At Jeff Romer asked the question, Buffalo and Miami looks like a good game on the surface, but how will the Bills produce any meaningful offense against that vaunted Miami defense? And I think that's a great question, Jeff, and the best answer I can give you, you have to look at Buffalo's offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, matching wits versus Kevin Coyle, the defensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins. Hackett has to find the ideal way to utilize his personnel and get the football in the hands of his best playmakers, i.e. Sammy Watkins, in order for this Bills offense to have some success. But it all starts with the guy that's calling the plays, and that's Nathaniel Hackett. At 84 Rugby asked the question, can the Bills offensive line improve at all, or just not enough talent there to begin with? I think there is enough talent there for these guys to have success. Remember, their offense can move the football. I think what has to happen, they have to get back to basics. And the best way you can have the offensive line have some success is continue to play simple football, running downhill, keeping the passing game short and quick, allowing those guys to build confidence up front, and that's when you'll start to see better O-line play as a whole. At Tyler Grandits 10 asked the question, what can we, the Bills, do to actually come away with points when we have great field position? That's an easy answer, Tyler. Great question, by the way. I think the one thing they have to do is execute. The coaches put these guys in position to make plays. They can't have those fumbles like what Bryce Brown had last week. They have to catch the football consistently. They have to move guys off the spot. If they can just execute, the Bills will be fine. They have the talent. Again, it's as simple as executing a lot better in order to come away with points. And I want to say thank you to all of you guys for sending questions in via Twitter. Again, if you have a question about an upcoming game, hit me up on Twitter at FBallGamePlan. The biggest X factor for the Bills in this ball game, I believe, will be their pass defense. The Dolphins do a great job of spreading the field in 4 and sometimes empty sets, and they challenge your personnel. So they expand your defense and force you to make one-on-one plays in space. This is something that the Bills will have to excel at this week in order to come away victorious. And for the Dolphins, I look at their special teams, more in particular their return game. Jarvis Landry does a great job in kickoff returns. You don't want to see a lot of kickoff returns this week if you're Miami, but in the punt return department, this is where he has to do a great job in flipping field position, giving that Dolphins offense a short field to work with. I like the Dolphins in this ballgame. I think this will be a slug-it-out defensive battle. And quiet as kept, I still like the personnel in the backfield for Miami more so than I like what they have out there in Buffalo. So I think what you'll see is more of the running game for Miami. Their defense will be excellent. They'll be able to get off the field. I think ultimately they'll win the game versus Buffalo. This is a pivotal game in the AFC East.
What's up, fantasy football fans? I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. For all of your starts, sits, fantasy football notes, news, and tidbits, tune into our podcast, Football Game Plan Starting Lineup, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on our Football Game Plan Radio Network, which is located at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan.
And I also want to give a huge shout out to Dolphin fan forums and Bill fan forums for always showing Football Game Plan support.